Salah and Mane and Diaz, and really look at them to go and plough furrows into the Real Madrid defence.
Alexander-Arnold finding Robertson, as he so often does with that crossfield ball. Fabinho into Mane. Now Thiago. After a report, the Liverpool end of the stadium is now pretty much full. Mane. No foul. Casemiro to Benzema. Here's Valverde. Thiago's interception has only fed Valverde again. Fabinho is there though.
Vinicius at the top of the screen making a run. He was free. You know, I'll tell you, just a momentary lapse in concentration. Wasn't aware of where he was fully.
Here's Alexander-Arnold. Vinicius is not going with him. Salah. Alexander-Arnold again, trying to play it back to Salah, but fell on Mendy, came between them. Early for Vinicius this time. Canate looks up into the Paris night, but it's Alisson who takes evasive action. That's good work from Alexander-Arnold. It's a final with a good early tempo.
Militao hit that long early ball. It's because Liverpool have got such a high defensive line up near the halfway line. Conversely, you look at this Real Madrid line, happy to sit back, happy to hold back that line.
Mane trying to get Luis Diaz in behind Carvajal, but they weren't quite on the same wavelength.
I just saw that although Real Madrid did drop off and hold, they are still, as Jamie Carragher was pointing out in the build-up, they're man-orientated. They will get spread across the pitch as a defensive line. They're open.
The two coaches have been here, seen it, got the medals, both winners and losers. Jurgen Klopp's fourth Champions League final as a coach, a number bettered only by Carlo Ancelotti, number 5 on the sidelines tonight, plus a couple out in the middle as a Milan player. Alexander-Arnold. Salah. Henderson trying to get it back to Alexander-Arnold, but Vinicius had taken up a more defensive position. It's almost a battle of wills down the flanks.
Battle of nerve, isn't it? Saying, I will go. You have to chase me. You have to trust your teammates if you've been told not to track.
Henderson, Salah. Alexander-Arnold to Mohamed Salah. Mane in behind here. Cut back dangerously. Casemiro did end up, but Salah is there. Flag is up. I guess the ball must have gone out of play. It was, in the end, a rather perilous piece of defending.
Casemiro's got such an important role. See it going out for a goal kick, clearly, but just sitting in front of that defensive line for Real Madrid. He will drop into that line at times. We've seen over the previous ties where he feels like it's necessary. He'll drop in and help them out. They'll need it.
Thiago. Not even Luis Diaz will catch that. But it's not been a cagey start by any means. There has been a chaotic wonder about Real Madrid's matches in the Champions League this year, and Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool could do chaos too. Their fevered intensity tends to create crazy games. I wonder which team would it suit if this game began to run out of control. Maybe needs the catalyst catalyst of an early goal. Karim Benzema, halted by Alexander-Arnold.
Just feel that it has got that chaotic energy from the start. The legs within this Liverpool side will have the edge, but then as the game drags on, we've seen the likes of Camavinga come off the bench for Real Madrid. And as super subs go, he's an incredible addition to bring on because he brings such life in the midfield. So he's got angles on the pitch, nuances on the pitch, but also off the pitch in the benches, on the bench as well.
Thiago finding Salah. Finding him too. Henderson looking for Luis Diaz. Luis Diaz against Danny Carvajal will be another game within the game. And his return pass is a little heavy. Has gone for a goal kick.
He will fancy himself tonight against Carvajal. Such a wonderful addition for the Liverpool side. Another option. Carvajal out there. Feel a little bit exposed out there if he gets dragged all the way out for the touchline. It's interesting that Diaz has started very, very wide.
Fabinho to Salah. Thiago to Fabinho. Disquiet about the new pitch that was laid in midweek, but it seems to be rolling pretty true so far. Salah and Mane combining. Fabinho to Alexander-Arnold. Driven towards Luis Diaz. Thiago, Luis Diaz, Andy Robertson deflected. It was awkward, but Mendy and Courtois sorted it out.
Just a momentary hesitation from Courtois when it gets that deflection. It's so difficult to judge where the ball's going to bounce, which player's going to get there first. But cool, if you like, from Mendy. Cool heads in hot areas.
In the ball. Luis Diaz. Mohamed Salah at the stretch couldn't reel it in, and now Vinicius has escaped in behind Alexander-Arnold. Canate with a very well-timed challenge. It's really good, strong defending from Ibrahim Canate. Salah. Canate is the only true Parisian in the final. Ferland Mendy is from the region and was with PSG as a youth player, but Canate was born and brought up in one of the French capital's inner suburbs on the right bank. This is a homecoming for him.
That, in a nutshell, is why he's been picked in front of Matip, because Trent Alexander-Arnold will get higher up the pitch. He is more athletic, defensively better-minded in 1v1s than Matip. And he's also never lost as a Liverpool player. Not a bad omen.
What a record to have. Never on the losing side in 28 Liverpool appearances. Ibrahim Canate. It's a little loose from Mane. Liverpool the more assertive in these opening 15 minutes. Thiago seeking out Henderson. Alexander-Arnold. Cross is dangerous. Salah! Smart save there. Courtois had to get down quickly. There was an element of surprise about Salah's strike. Henderson. Salah again. Mane let it run. Luis Diaz. reinforces the best save of the night so far from Thibaut Courtois. Not that one, the one before.
Now that was the comfortable one. That was the one that relieved the pressure. Here's the smart save. Just a little bit of pace taken off it by being behind him. But to stop, to be set, to be ready for that strike. He's been a big, big player for this Real Madrid side. I get the feeling he might need a few more of them tonight.
He's faced Liverpool 10 times. They've been on the losing side just once. He was outstanding against them in the quarterfinals of this competition last season. Thibaut Courtois. Luis Diaz taking Carvajal for a run. Robertson fed into Mane, able to turn, back to Salah! They were straight at Courtois, but it was sharp and it was smart from Liverpool, and they're starting to get through.
They're starting to crank up the pressure now, and the Real Madrid backline is dropping that little bit deeper. Midfield is having to drop as well. That allows that control and the time to pick the passes when they go into the penalty area. That's why they're getting the shots away.
Modric, the Real Madrid midfield trio really haven't been a big factor in the game as yet. Casemiro trying to change that with a very adroit pass for Valverde early in. Alexander Arnold with the cover. Vinicius have gone down the centre. Now Robertson can counter. Salah hasn't been quite as unplayable in recent weeks as he was at the start of the year. The bar that he set so high maybe hasn't been reaching quite as often. And he's been involved in the early skirmishes in the final. Henderson looking for Mane this time. First touch was good, so was the cover. Salah, Alexander Arnold, Henderson, Mane, Salah, back to Alexander Arnold. He's capable of far, far better than that.
Well, it was a wayward shot in the end, but it was controlled by Liverpool, and Real Madrid really just need to get to grips with Thiago in that centre midfield. He's a doubt before the game, but they're not getting the pressure on him, and he's starting to pick his passes, pick his moments. A couple to Jordan Henderson, who's gone wide. From there, Liverpool really enjoying themselves in their attacks and the pressure that they're creating.
You know, Modric, Casemiro, Kroos, they have nearly 100 years on the planet between them, over 1,100 games for Real Madrid, 10 of those in Champions League finals before tonight. They won 3 finals together as a trio. Trio first brought together by Carlo Ancelotti in 2014, but strangely, none of them were on the field for Real Madrid's astonishing comeback in the semi-final. All 3 been substituted with 15 minutes of normal time to play. But when Ancelotti has had to freshen up his midfield because of their advancing years, Real Madrid have been different, maybe even better.
Yes, they've had legs. It's not often you come up with player stats that make me feel young, but that's one of them.
Fabinho, Thiago. Robertson to Thiago, threaded through to Mane. He's found some space, and he's found the post for the hand of Courtois. It was a really good save by the Real Madrid keeper. Just managed to divert it onto the goalpost. Sadio Mane is so close.
It's a fantastic save, a fantastic touch. You just watched it. Courtois is set, he's ready, he's waited. As soon as Mane comes onto his right foot, you're thinking as a goalkeeper, he's going to go to your far side, going to go in the far post. Courtois' left-hand side. No, he stands and waits.
There's some off limits there. Canate dealt with that long ball, seeking out Vinicius again. And it's all Liverpool. Mane. Slight challenge by Casemiro was fair. That wasn't from Thiago. Sadio Mane, who scored against against Real Madrid in the 2018 final and hit the post later in the game, an incident that's often forgotten amidst the Gareth Bale dramatics. And he struck it upright tonight.
Team, of course, celebrated the save like a goal, and rightly so, because 20 minutes into the game, starting to really turn the screw here, Liverpool. Really get on top, and he senses they just need to turn this around, need to stem the flow, get hold of the ball, just gesticulating with his teammates, telling them just to calm it.
It's his first Champions League final for Real Madrid. He played against them for Atletico as a 22-year-old back in 2014, beaten by a 93rd minute equaliser and then beaten 3 more times in extra time. Luis Diaz just couldn't quite force it into the path of Mane that time. Kroos. There's no conventional challenge by Mane. French referees saw nothing untoward. Midpoint in the first half, it's goalless, but Liverpool are looking the team more likely.
Just feel in the sense that Real Madrid, that first ball forwards from this back line coming it out, if they can then get on the half turn, and then they can turn out here to go forwards, it just gives Liverpool something to think about, something to make them step back, buys Real Madrid a little bit of time, eases the pressure.
Kroos, Carvajal had made a run on the near side. It's 32 days since he was substituted at half-time at Manchester City in the semi-final. Alaba, this is the first football that he's played since then. Nursing injury. One or two fitness question marks and one or two players coming into the game, but maybe the biggest one over Alaba. Salah. Cut out by Alaba. Thiago almost intercepted. Casemiro. Kroos. Benzema. Kroos sinking up Carvajal. Modric. Benzema made a good run there. Modric and Kroos are just finding their way into the game and really turned down the opportunity of that kind of longer searching pass. Vinicius. Mendy. Vinicius in towards Benzema. Still close to Alisson.
Finally judged by Alisson. A little bit square onto him. Realised the back pedal was needed. Real Madrid won't mind that, just having that period of time with the ball, just to get themselves out up the pitch and into Liverpool half for a bit.
Diaz. Carvajal's done well against him so far. Real Madrid get the throw in.
It was going to be an interesting battle all night, this. Robertson plays more of a supporting role for Luis Diaz. It's not the combinations on the other side, so it's a man against man proposition there for Carvajal. Risen to the challenge so far.
It's loose though from Carvajal. Alexander-Arnold. Salah. Henderson. By Mendy. As far as Canate. Alexander-Arnold instantly on to Salah. Couldn't quite connect. Alaba sorted that.
On the ball now, and Kroos is next, and both of them so deep.
Looking for Carvajal. Robertson dealt with it after a fashion, but Carvajal has the ball in enemy territory. Carvajal had stayed forward, but Kroos couldn't find him.
Both players have such experience. They're recognising the fact that they need to gain control in this game. Forego a bit of that foot, attacking intent, just to get the foot on the ball.
Casemiro seeking out Vinicius. Will be the go-to ball for Real Madrid's midfield. Particularly when Vinicius has some space, as he had then. Speculative, so hopeful effort. He felt it was deflected off his fellow countryman Casemiro. Probably was, I think.
Maybe just the slightest of touches, but Real Madrid there, if you're saying we're still in the game, half an hour, 28 minutes into the game, and Fabinho's taking strikes from 30 yards, 35 yards, you'd take that. They don't have to play well, this Real Madrid side. They just need to stay in the game.
Had to get his head to that. Salah isolated with Mendy here. Mane. Salah makes that cutting burst infield, then almost lends the ball to a teammate to set up a shooting chance. Didn't quite come off there. Good ball from Thiago. Henderson. Typical instant cross from him, but misguided. There is an irresistible force about these two clubs in this competition. An aura, a reputation that goes before them. We've seen it in Real Madrid's incredible journey to Paris. So many comebacks. You almost come to expect them to pull them off. Their opponents come to fear them. They have won each of their last 9 European finals, all 7 of their Champions League finals in the modern era. The last team to overcome them in the final of this competition, Liverpool in Paris, 1981. Vinicius. Alexander-Arnold only just caught up with him. I think Vinicius was borderline offside.
It was tight, but it was a clever bit of play from Real Madrid. It was that first ball forward. They got control of it, the layoff. Vinicius was away.
Salah. Bumped off the ball by Kroos. But there's a little game of poker going on the far side of the field between Alexander-Arnold and Vinicius. With a bluff and bidding and counter-bluff.
Ironically, the game's going on away from them, and it's the ball forwards into Benzema. It's the key ball. If he gets hold of it and bounces it off, then he's away, Vinicius. That's what they're waiting for, just that moment.
fascinating Champions League final. In Paris for that final in 1981, and we had to wait for minute 81 for the only goal that night. One goal has been sufficient to settle the last two finals. Casemiro giving it away to Mane. Salah. Mendy caught up with it. Here's Benzema. This makes the run in behind, and Dyke sees it all the way.
Fortunate there for Real Madrid that they lost the ball, and the initial reaction from the team was to drop, and then immediately winning back. The two of them were detached from the rest of the side. There wasn't another option.
Coming out to engage Mane, no foul. Just got a touch to it, and Luis Diaz on to Mane. Gross is there. Referee tried to allow an advantage, but he's brought it back for a Liverpool free kick.
A little nudge from Carvajal, but looking at long periods of inactivity from Real Madrid, and it feels like the game's drifting and not going anywhere, but it actually suits them. They're biding their time. They're waiting for their moment. Moment of chaos. When can we cause our damage? Little niggles like that by Carvajal, those little fouls, they slow the game down. That suits Real Madrid.
Thiago coming looking for the ball. Canate. Two challenges there. Alexander-Arnold. Headers by Salah, and it's straight at Courtois, but it was another sight of the Real Madrid goal.
Militao has left him, just not reacted. It's not in the space where Militao thinks he's going to read it, in between him and Courtois. It's not Salah's strongest point of his game. It's a strike on target.
He scored in 2 of his last 15 Liverpool games, which by his standards is a drought.
Ever since coming back from the African Cup of Nations, you wondered whether there'd be a drop-off. Looking at the attempts on target, there's no real argument who's been on top in the game.
Mohamed Salah has had a number of those attempts. Here's Van Dijk. Still won one of the 2 big Footballer of the Year awards in England. Mohamed Salah lasted just 30 minutes of his first final. That infamous altercation with Sergio Ramos, scored in the 2nd minute of his second. Valverde. Again, Vinicius is the target. Benzema. Vinicius. Knocked up between the legs of Canate, and it needed Henderson to come and cover.
And he's cursing. So that was a little moment, a little glimpse to get that toe in.
Benzema. Thiago's header managed to break up the attack. That's Carney for Alisson, and that's fantastic pass from the Liverpool goalkeeper. Was he held up there by Carvajal? Indeed he was. There's a tactical foul by the Real Madrid right back, and he's trying the referee's patience here.
He knew exactly what he was doing, Carvajal. All going nowhere. It was a great ball from Allison. Just didn't have the pace. Diaz had to slow his run down. Allowed him to get back.
I think that should have been a yellow card.
Absolutely,
It wasn't. Has both Canate and Van Dijk to aim for. Instead goes square to Robertson. To Henderson, I should say. Now the high ball in. It's Robertson who's on the end of it. Luis Diaz. Didn't quite work out for Liverpool. Seemed to be a clear nudge in the back of Luis Diaz by Eder Militao. Not penalised.
He's never winning the header, never getting there, always going through. Militao never want to turn away an opportunity like that.
He was a real soldier in the semi-final. He sprained every sinew of his body, leg massages from his teammates. During stoppages, he went off and came back on. Almost got to the end of extra time. Canate hasn't dealt with that. Vinicius. Benzema runs into Alexander-Arnold, but it comes back for Vinicius Junior. Karim Benzema. Toni Kroos. Dani Carvajal. It's a bit hot as it came to Valverde and he couldn't control it. Luis Diaz can escape. Being chased by Carvajal. He won the race fairly.
He's had the bit between his teeth in this first half. Carvajal, we wonder how that battle was going to ensue, and he's had the better of it.
Yeah, he's had his injury issues the last couple of years. But been back in form the last couple of months, back in the Spain squad. Certainly there's a lot of energy about him in the semi-final. It's from his cross that Rodrigo had in the second goal. But his hands full tonight with Luis Diaz, but he's meeting the challenge well. Gets it back from Henderson. Mohamed Salah. To Mane. Corner kick given.
Big tackle. Just went tight. Realised Militao that he's going to have to recover quick because Mane got that half a yard on him.
He scored in his last 3 Champions League starts, Sadio Mane, quarter-final, semi-final, top goals. Has played mainly at the number 9, the centre-forward role since returning from winning the African Cup of Nations with Senegal. Taken by Robertson. Hit away by Benzema. Struck by Henderson. Very well struck, but not accurately struck.
Well, Courtois was beaten. Fair way off target. He wasn't to know that initially. Just from the strike alone, the reaction from Courtois. Wasn't sure where it was going. Sigh of relief when it went wide.
delayed 2022 Champions League final. You are just joining us and wondering why we are still 4 minutes shy of half-time. The kickoff was delayed in order to try to deal with the admission of fans at one end of the ground. It does feel as if the stadium is full of noise now. And this is as well a free kick here.
Tight. Terriers want to get high up the pitch from Konate. Not that tight.
Karim Benzema was saying this week he feels Vinicius is one of the top 5 players in the world now. He's provided more assists in the Champions League. It's only 18 months ago since Benzema was caught on camera whispering to a teammate at half-time, "Don't give the ball to Vinicius, I'm not sure he's on our team." I think it says more about Vinicius' improvement than anything.
We've all had that said about us, guys.
Here is Vinicius Junior. Alaba. Benzema has found some space here. Karim Benzema! Oh, and Alisson Elimami might still come. Benzema! That's a won't count. Came from an offside position. Liverpool will breathe a mighty sigh of relief because they afforded him one chance, dealt with it, and then presented it back to him.
Well, he was only needed one chance in all the build-up to the game. He's talking the way that he takes his chances.
I'm wondering if the flag was for the initial burst forward. It is going to be checked, inevitably.
Has to be checked. I think this will stand.
I don't think there's any problem once it comes back to him, really.
No, it's off the Liverpool player. So it's that first pass alone.
Well, he's been rivaling Ronaldo numbers this season, 44 goals and counting. Now, there's only one defender behind because the goalkeeper is so far forward, but does it come off Valverde or does it come off a Liverpool player? It has to be an intentional touch by a Liverpool player rather than just an innocent deflection. That is the call now for the VAR, Jerome Brisa. And everybody in this stadium waits on his verdict. The jury is quite literally out here. It's obviously close, or we would have had a decision before now.
Well, for me, that touch onto the Liverpool player stops it, a shot on target. So it is something that I feel will stand, and it has to stand, because without that touch from Konate and Fabinho, it is a tackle. It's an intentional play of the ball.
It's how it gets back to him there that is the key to this. There's no doubt that he was coming from what is termed an offside position. This isn't relevant in a sense. It's now he's behind the goalkeeper with only one defender between him and the goal. But how does it get back to him? It comes off Fabinho's knee. I think it's going to be played on here. We do have a FIFA referee, Christina Unger, to give her view of this while we await the VAR's decision. How do you see it, Christina?
Yes, the determination we're making is whether or not Fabinho deliberately played the ball. It appears that Benzema was in an offside position. However, if the infraction has occurred or not, based on that behind the camera angle of Fabinho going in and committing and playing that ball, that's where they're looking at. And I do think that if they determine it as a deliberate play, the goal will stand.
That is the conundrum for the VAR. There is a lot resting on the shoulders of Bishop Brissa right now. just a deflection or a diversion, and I guess the verdict is that as Fabinho went in to challenge there, it came off his knee inadvertently. What a mistake here by Alisson. Liverpool, who've been the better team for much of the half, are finishing it very nervously.
They're sixes and sevens at the moment, and this is the chaos that Real Madrid have been waiting for. Well, that's the wrong call for me. Fabinho's gone in to make the tackle. He's clearly trying to play the ball, so therefore he's playing the ball to Benzema, and he's not offside, even though he is on an offside position. So it's a big call.
It was Alisson who rather got in the way of Konaté's initial attempt to clear the ball. There's a misunderstanding between those two, which allowed Benzema a second chance, which he took. We don't have access to the same camera angles as VAR does have. I wonder in the back of my mind about the initial run by Benzema. That was a tight call too, but either way, the score is 0-0. Here is Karim Benzema, still 44, sorry. Almost got Vinicius away there. Liverpool have just lost a little bit of order here in these last couple of minutes. They need the half-time whistle.
This was what we considered to be the game, was that Real Madrid would stay in the game and would wait for that one opportunity that they get. And there in the first half, you've seen all the chances.
Get up, Iggy! Get up!
Madrid
Get up!
and waiting and then pouncing.
No foul by Alexander-Arnold.
Get up, Iggy!
Call two, that's terrible from Thiago. Fired in by Kroos, cut out by Konaté. And that's almost the sound of the bell for the end of a round which Liverpool were losing. They've been on top for most of the half. Sadio Mane has struck a post, but Karim Benzema managed to strike the back of the Liverpool net. And after a long, long wait, had his goal ruled out. And so at half-time in the Champions League final, Liverpool 0, Real Madrid 0. This match is brought to you by
He didn't have long to react, got down for a big man tremendously quickly and got a really strong hand to the ball, palmed it against the inside of the post and then got up to react to grab the ball. I mean, that would have been a goal against the vast majority of the world's goalkeepers. That was a huge moment. And then fast forward, and Liverpool have had 10 shots to Real Madrid's 1 in the first half and 5 shots on target to Real Madrid's none. But fast forward to the VAR moment right before half-time. We've been talking about one pass unlocking Liverpool. It hasn't happened, but it's looked like it could. Benzema was the player who got in behind, checked. Liverpool were anxious, they were panicking, readjusting. The initial save was made, the ball rebounded. It seemed to be comfortable for Konate and Alisson, but Konate tapped it towards Alisson, who was on the floor, couldn't handle it. All of a sudden the ball's loose by the penalty spot. It got poked back forward again by whom's not initially clear. Benzema whips it into the net. The flag goes up for offside. We had to check a couple of positions to see where Benzema was offside. The first he was okay, the second he wasn't, because the outstretched leg of Valverde had obviously moved it forward at some point, and so the goal was disallowed and it remains 0-0. But it was a hugely anxious moment for Liverpool, and that will stay with them, I think, as the game goes on.
Interesting watching how Madrid are setting up defensively. We talked about Valverde playing on the right side. We are seeing that, Chris. Also, this Luka Modric playing off Benzema, almost tracking Thiago throughout that first half. There's all these mini battles that we also expected to happen are happening. I mean, Vinicius against Trent, Carvajal against Diaz. It's unfolding as we sort of thought it would.
Yeah, and I feel like these are two of the greatest coaches of ever in this competition. That you know, Ancelotti's in his 5th final, the most ever. He can win it 4 times. No one's ever done that before. I think we're seeing the game evolve. You know, you have a plan at the start of a match, but then you see what's happening in it, and he's been giving instructions to certain players to go here. That has been fascinating, and yeah, Jordan Henderson's role has been really interesting. Richard alluded it into commentary. He actually took the words out of my mouth. He looks like a guy who knows he's playing 60-65 minutes and therefore can empty the tank.
But they just showed the distances on there.
He's
covered the most distance in this game so far. And I said before, you know, having Fabinho in there, it almost allows Jordan Henderson to go on more, doesn't it? And he can become that player that's more of a box-to-box.
But he's not someone that anyone was talking about beforehand in terms of where no one was saying Jordan Henderson might pop up with a cushioned ball back for Alexander-Arnold from the right wing position. So maybe Jurgen Klopp has come up with a bit of a magic plan for his captain, and certainly he's been a key player along with Mane, who has.
And Henderson's been doubling up really, really well as well. I think that's major in this, like a player being able to implement a game plan in the way that Jordan Henderson can, and Klopp knows what he's going to get with Henderson.
We've just seen replays of that save from Thibaut Courtois, which is probably one of the saves of the season, isn't it, in the Champions League? It's unbelievable.
I want to give due credit to the pass up to Mane from Thiago as well, which is a beautiful angle on it. Wrong foot to the defence, and then the way Mane takes the ball, get his low centre of gravity away from Casemiro immediately, stands up Eder Militao to create the space for the shot. I mean, it's brilliant centre-forward play, isn't it, to create the opportunity. And once he gets the opportunity, he does think he's scored.
Absolutely, and I think what's great about Mane as well is he can go left and right. He comes inside, he creates it for himself. Thiago's great ball, but then Mane, you know, Carvajal doesn't know if he's going to go left, Militao doesn't know if he's going to go right, creates it, but it's a fantastic save in the end. And Courtois
made sure he gathered the ball up.
Putting in a tackle, and Real Madrid need that. They need a little bit more oomph, I think. They need a bit more quality. We know they have it, but we haven't really seen it. But I just think Liverpool have startled them a little bit from the get-go with their press, which I'm not sure why, because we all know that Liverpool are going to play that way.
Half-time in the Champions League final. Rich, Leanne, Chris, get a quick break. Second half on the way shortly. A reminder, we had a delayed kick-off of more than half an hour to the Champions League final this season, so we are slightly behind. We are at half-time now, and probably a few minutes away from the second half getting underway. It has been quite a season in the competition. We began the group stage way back on Tuesday, the 14th of September. We're now midway through the 125th match. It's been quite a ride.
A journey in the competition we all adore.
The UEFA Champions League is back tonight,
with the authentic noise of supporters ringing in our ears.
Luis Diaz in his own half wins a throw-in off the Colombian. Worth re-emphasising as well that on the Liverpool bench, Jota is there, yes. Minamino perhaps could make a difference. Firmino is there. Keita, we thought he might play at the start of the game when it appeared Thiago was struggling in the warm-up, but Thiago is still going strong for Liverpool. They usually bring James Milner on at some point. From a Real Madrid perspective, well, Asensio is in double figures for goals this season, and he's scored in Champions League finals of the past. Gareth Bale, Isco and Eden Hazard are on their bench tonight. Surely one of those couldn't play a key role this evening. Marcelo, who's already bidding farewell to Real Madrid, is he going to get minutes? Rodrigo and Camavinga both surely will. Konate again, very calm in possession now, and he's trying to lead the Liverpool backline and say, come on guys, let's push up a bit further towards the halfway line.
Even though I don't think Real Madrid have been very threatening going forward, I think defensively they've been really, really good, doubling up 1v1.
Salah clipping in a cross, out comes Courtois and collects.
Really, really good. I think, you know, like I said, the midfield, I don't think they've got on the ball, but they can hurt you when they do. But defensively, I think Alaba, Militao, Carvajal have done a very, very good job on the front three, because apart from Mane's opportunity in the first half that he created himself, they haven't actually had loads, have they? And they've got tight to him, you know, they've got in, they've not let them have a second.
Valverde did well there for Real Madrid down the right-hand side, got away from Robertson and linked the play to Benzema, but then the red shirts came flooding back, and they came flooding back with a vibrancy and an aggression. Luis Diaz took the ball away, and the men in red have claimed it back again.
That was brilliant from Luis Diaz. I mean, there was a small minority of Liverpool fans. It looks like there was in amongst the Real Madrid fans there, and they kind of clapped him because, you know, he's a centre forward, usually down the other end, and he was so calm, back heels it, you know, so elegantly backward. It was amazing, really good composure in that situation.
45 million euros from Porto in January, Luis Diaz. Aren't too many of a Liverpool persuasion who are grumbling about that price tag.
He's so cheap in this market. It sounds ridiculous to say 45 million is cheap, but he's brilliant. He really is.
Konate controlling very elegantly inside his own half, and then just rolling the ball to Thiago. Relaxed from Liverpool under pressure. Then the outball from Van Dijk to Mane's a good one, and he's curled a low pass into the path of Luis Diaz, wide on the left. Modric is the defender here, holds up Luis Diaz, lays it back. Mane's running in, blocked by the defender coming out to meet him. So too was Alexander-Arnold's shot, and Casemiro, having made that block, Then tried the drive forward. He felt he was fouled by Alexander-Arnold, but the referee was right there. And having penalised the Englishman in similar circumstances a minute ago, he did not blow the whistle this time. And it's Liverpool ball again. Real Madrid effectively a 5-4-1 in defence at the moment. Benzema the one. Here's Luis Diaz, the white shirts all in front of him, no obvious options. Liverpool reset. Fabinho the starting point. Central area to his right to Thiago, who's looking to get it on the left-hand side and hit the passes with the right boot. Hits the diagonal to Alexander-Arnold, gets it back from Henderson. Thiago's coming near post, and he was close to that. Modric gets a header away after Courtois had flapped it away first time, and it will eventually be a goal kick to Real Madrid, but they got down the right nicely there, Chris.
I don't think we saw Alexander-Arnold put in a dangerous ball at all in the first half. It's been 2 already in the second period, and I love, you look at the stadium now, Richard, red at one, and the end that Liverpool are attacking, white at the other with the Real Madrid supporters, and there's something about teams attacking their ends in big finals which makes it all the more special. And Liverpool are increasingly now, after quite a start, I'd say, to the second half than the first, beginning to really dominate things.
They got the press on there. Eder Militao just had to lift it out of play on the far side, and now he's had to lift Luis Diaz up in the air, although I think Luis Diaz's boot came down on the side of the face of Eder Militao, and the foul's been given. I don't think there was anything deliberate about it, but there may well be an injury sustained by the Brazilian defender, and there's quite a heated conversation brewing about it between the two sets of players. What did you see, Leanne?
I mean, every single time Luis Diaz is getting the ball, he's going to know he's been in the game tonight after this game, because it's almost like a wrestling match at times. They're not letting him breathe, and I think you guys are right. I think we'll see Jurgen Klopp make a substitution at some point soon, because there was an opportunity about 2 minutes ago where Luis Diaz was really good down the left-hand side, and he looked like he ran out of legs to make the ball really with pace on it to get back. But to me, in this situation, I think it was almost like a lot of physicality, you know, not really much in it. I think it is a foul in the end, and the ref's going to give it.
Yeah, I think it was the way that Diaz fell. He did flatten the Real Madrid player, and I think it was a free kick, and also the game was always going to stop because it is a head injury to Militao, who's taking a sip of water. It's been a hot old day. It's going to be a very late evening, and we can hear now the Liverpool fans, I think, trying to rally their side. It's just feels like it's going to be a long night, this.
He'd borne the brunt of the Liverpool pressure at Militao just in that previous phase of play. So when he went grappling with Luis Diaz and effectively pulled the Colombian down on top of his own head, I think he was perfectly prepared to, to release that pressure on himself and on his teammates by just instigating a little break in proceedings.
It's the absolute worst when players do that. I used to hate playing against players like that, like a Chiellini, that, you know, they don't let you breathe, and that's exactly what they have to do to try and stop Luis Diaz and Liverpool's front three from getting any joy, really. And I think they've done. Carvajal, as you can see in the first half, he was kind of grappling hold of Luis Diaz. They all are kind of doing it, and you've got to do what you've got to do to try and win the game.
I was going to say Carlo Ancelotti down there chewing his gum on the near side. Looks a good deal calmer than he did in the opening 15 minutes of this final, when his side really were stressed, I think, by the amount of effort that Liverpool put in with the pressing. And here we are, 12 minutes into the second half. Sadio Mane on the ball, collecting it back to goal halfway inside the Real Madrid half. 8 white shirts behind the ball still, but Liverpool attacking down the right. Salah swiftly to Alexander-Arnold, back to Salah, collects, shoots first time, shoots again, blocked and appealed for handball. Referee wasn't interested, of course. Those will be looking at the monitors to double check it didn't hit an outstretched arm. It hit a hand of Alaba, but it was right in front of his chest.
Yeah, I mean, that take from Mo Salah was fantastic. Trent almost kind of rocketed into him. He took it in his stride, and I don't think that's a penalty at all. I think I can understand why they'd appeal for it, but correct decision from the ref.
He's had quite a quiet night by Mo Salah's normal standards, I would suggest, this evening. We've seen more of Mane and more of Diaz, but there he just skipped into life in a second. There are so many players on the pitch that can do that.
Came close in the first half, forcing a save from Courtois at the near post. But Mane came the closest from a Liverpool perspective. His shot tipped onto the post in the first half. Real Madrid building something here, maybe down the right-hand side with Valverde. He's got Carvajal on the overlap, shoots himself. Oh! His ball across is turned in by Vinicius Junior, and the young Brazilian makes another step forward on the world stage with the opening goal in the Champions League final. Valverde did brilliantly. The cross shot turned home from close range. Their first shot on target of the night, and they lead. Liverpool 0, Real Madrid 1.
I mean, this is, do you know what? I'm going to go all the way back to when Modric received the ball facing his own goal. He plays the ball inside to Carvajal. Casemiro plays it outside, and here, as we can see, it's a fantastic run. Unselfish on Carvajal. He's onside, fantastic ball across, and Vinicius Junior is in the right play. But when they show this replay of Modric, a lot of players in the position would have gone backwards, but Modric found the forward pass, broke through the lines, and, you know, and Trent Alexander-Arnold switched off for 1 split second, and Vinicius Junior's punished him.
I think he's tried to pick out Vinicius Junior there. I'm gonna give
on
it
the laces.
Yeah, because otherwise it was a wild shot, and he did have a look up as he was roaming forward. And the man of the moment, Vinicius Junior, who's had such an unbelievable year under Carlo Ancelotti. What a huge goal that is on the hour mark. But I think Fede Valverde there has meant to pick out Vinicius Junior, and Leanne's right. Trent Alexander-Arnold, whether he knew he was there or not, was nowhere near cutting out that pass.
Well, it's come in the 59th minute of the final. Real Madrid hit the front. They have been the comeback kings of this competition, but now they have a lead to defend. How will that suit them for the next half an hour?
The 60th minute is when they seem to come alive, and you know, it goes back to missed chances, it goes back to not taking your opportunities. Liverpool have been brilliant. I think they've implemented the game plan, but Real Madrid right now look like that goal has really taken them to another level. They've grown in confidence as the game's gone on, and clearly that's something they look to do. We've seen in this competition many times, you know. We talk about fitness levels of Liverpool and how they press, but equally Real Madrid, you know, they haven't really looked like they're going to get done in behind. Carvajal's been good, Alaba's been good, Militao's been good. So, you know, Liverpool have got to take the game to them now, and I think we probably will see some substitutions from Klopp soon.
Last season in the Spanish Liga and the UEFA Champions League combined, Vinicius Junior 6 goals and 4 assists. This season now, 21 goals and 16 assists in those 2 competitions. It's his 22nd goal of the season across the board. Liverpool have something to work out here, but they have been creating chances, and I guess if it's possible not to panic with half an hour to go of the most important game of the season and you're a goal down, maybe they need to find something of the Real Madrid mentality here. Keep themselves calm. Forward by Van Dijk to Luis Diaz, tried to spin away. Carvajal came out. That was Valverde coming out, and he was really good there. Fabinho went in, and went in late enough to pick up the first yellow card of the final.
We spoke about the fullbacks before the game, and I think Carvajal has been absolutely fantastic. He hasn't given Luis Diaz a moment to breathe. He really hasn't. It's not because Luis Diaz is playing badly, but he hasn't let him breathe on the ball. And I said it's annoying as a player when a player is like that and they don't give you any space. But, you know, he's been absolute. Carvajal's been fantastic, and Fabinho there's picked up a yellow card.
Maybe just a bit of frustration there, I think, from Fabinho. Again, Valverde has done it a number of occasions in this second half. Roaming in from the right, coming in field, and then looking for either the pass short to Modric or Kroos, or then to whip it out to the left-hand side. And Vinicius Junior, remember, that was one of the big selections that Carlo Ancelotti had to make. And, well, the fact that he's picked Fede Valverde has most definitely paid off so far.
Yeah, the Uruguay international Valverde certainly seemed to get a charge from setting up the opening goal. And he's on the ball now over on the far side, the Real Madrid right. Benzema is the closest teammate just in field, but he goes back to Modric over there. The stats actually said Real Madrid had slightly more of the ball in the first half. It didn't feel like that to me. They were 52-48 at half-time.
I'm actually shocked at that, because it seemed like it was kind of one-way traffic. But we mentioned before about substitutions, and it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when Rodrigo comes on. You know, when Camavinga's probably going to come on as well, and they're going to be still major in this game because there's still a lot in this game. It's not over because, you know, Liverpool 1-0 down. Liverpool have the players to come back into this game, but their backs are against the wall. And I don't think Vinicius Junior's had his best game tonight, but he's come up when they really needed him.
Yep, he has bided his time, and he was on hand after a terrific team goal. Terrific move, a terrific ball across from Valverde. This was the simple bit to plant it home. Here is Salah at the other end for Liverpool. Luis Diaz calling for it. Salah went for goal. Flying save by Courtois over to his right-hand side. And it will hit the corner flag and go out for a throw-in.
What a save that is. I mean, it looked like, to me, I'm not a goalkeeper, like it was going wide. Oh, it's going in. It's a fantastic save.
Courtois read the curl on that beautifully and was flying to his right with plenty of time to spare, I think, to keep it out. But a terrific piece of goalkeeping, and by no means the first that he's produced in this final. Luis Diaz to Fabinho here for Liverpool. The play being conducted inside the Real Madrid half for the time being. We have 25 minutes and change to play. Fabinho once again, the tall number 3 for Liverpool. Out to this near side for Mo Salah. Collects on the left boot, stretching it high into the air. Then stops, and is he clipped by Vinicius Junior? He was. Liverpool free kick here, level with the penalty spot between penalty box and touchline.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I mentioned before about Vinicius Junior. Sometimes when centre forwards are in that position, you know, that's why you should almost let the defenders do that job. And as we're seeing now, Diogo Jota's about to come into this game for Luis Diaz, as we kind of predicted. I don't think he's necessarily played bad, like I said, but I think they need fresh legs. He's run himself into the ground, and Diogo Jota's been very good for Liverpool, especially whether he starts, whether he comes off the bench. He usually comes up with a goal.
First experience of the UEFA Champions League final for Diogo Jota, the Portugal international. It was the first experience of it too for Luis Diaz. And we'll reflect on his contributions perhaps in due course, but Liverpool have this free kick, and it is in a good position. Van Dijk is forward, Konate is forward, and we've seen the Frenchman do damage from set pieces in the knockout phase this season. Will it be Robertson to swing it in with the left boot? It is. It's decent. It's well headed out by, I think, Valverde again for Real Madrid. He's really coming up trumps for the Spanish champions at the moment. Mane collects near the corner flag left-hand side. Mane's cross, good one towards Konate. Eder Militao grew there and headed clear authoritatively for Real Madrid. Up and under, back into the box by Liverpool, and the header back to Courtois, who is happy with 65 minutes on the watch to fall on the ball in his penalty box. Well, Courtois' flying save. Luis Diaz has gone off for Jota, Chris.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that. I think if Jota gets the ball as much as Diaz has got the ball, I think he will back himself to perhaps create more than the Colombian has tonight. And it's a great man to come on, but just looking at that save from Courtois, it's one of those that gets better every time you see it. I mean, two really good saves and one world-class save tonight so far from Courtois.
Salah taking a cross on this near side, has been found guilty of tripping the German. And just poked it past him, close to his body between Salah and ball, using all his experience to win the free kick there.
Yeah, from what I can see as well, I think the Liverpool front three are receiving the ball too deep. I think somebody needs to push, you know, the Real Madrid back line back, because Salah's picking up the ball, you know, he's trying to get at them, he's not getting much luck and stuff like that, and, you know, Diaz has gone off now, so maybe Carvajal, Jota might be able to expose him a little bit, maybe, based upon the fact he might be a bit tired, but I think Liverpool front three need to push the team a bit more higher up the pitch, because Mane's dropping too deep for me, and when they're receiving it, there's too much space to go towards goal.
Here is Jota, laid down the left-hand side for the first time, but Eder Militao came across, and I think Jota got a hold of him. Well, the referee has ignored that and given the corner to Liverpool. And I thought Jota might have been guilty of fouling the Brazilian there, but as it is, corner is the call. And so forward come Konate and Van Dijk, and Fabinho too, once again. Three significant units for Liverpool to roll forward. In comes the corner, the away swinger headed away by Carvajal. I think Real Madrid defended the set plays well over the last few minutes. Now the pass for Jota, and he will win another corner there off Casemiro. Real Madrid having to do a lot of work inside their own box for them.
It's been a good response from Liverpool there, hasn't it? I think, yeah, having probably looked the better team to then concede, they haven't let that affected them too much, and it's another opportunity, but Militao and Co have dealt with them well.
Konate up high for the corner with Militao, didn't get a clean contact on it. Back in Fabinho, out by Real Madrid, who lead by a goal to nil. Vinicius Junior has got the first goal of the final. After the assist from Valverde, here's Salah, right-hand side for Liverpool, laying it back to Henderson. High swinging cross to the back post, back in by Jota. Salah arriving out, comes Courtois again to close down the angle when Salah looked favourite to get there. And he had a lot of goal to cover, Courtois, but he was really fast that time. An excellent save.
What a save. I was waiting for the next ripple again. I think Mo Salah thought the same thing. He thought he'd have a simple tap in, but another fantastic save from Courtois.
Valverde with a cross in from the right-hand side. Both Benzema and Vinicius Junior were in the middle there, and there was only Konate for Liverpool, but he made the header, and it was calmly executed. Courtois in his second UEFA Champions League final. He's had to wait a long time for number 2. 2014 for Atletico Madrid, when the white shirts got the better of him, was his first. Salah couldn't find a way through. Carvajal finds a way out nicely for Real Madrid and then goes after the out ball. Lets it on the halfway line. He's having a good final here, Danny Carvajal.
He's been brilliant. I think from the first moment in the game, he looked a little bit like offish because he cut inside, gave away the ball, but for me, I think he's been Real Madrid's best player.
Henderson for Liverpool to Alexander-Arnold. Advanced position for the right back, but not the kind of cross he was hoping for. Too high, overhit, beyond Salah, beyond Mane, who was closer to getting it. Here's another look at this save that Courtois just made, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, it's 4 now tonight. He comes rushing across the length of his goal. I actually think Salah knows he can't score from that angle, and he's trying to think that back into the middle where perhaps Mane was, but Courtois was not going to let that ball get back. And you mentioned that his 2014 final. You know, he won't be counting any chickens, given that Atleti led until the 93rd minute when Real Madrid came back. But you know, he'd be up there with the best goalkeepers never to have won this competition if his career ends or ended without winning it. So he's 20 minutes away. Now in his 30s, of course, Thibaut Courtois from presumably the best moment of his career so far.
I think you're right, Chris, as well, because he would have literally, Mane would have had a simple tap in had Courtois have not pulled off that unbelievable save.
He's a man on a mission this evening, it appears. Here's Vinicius Junior. He's got Konate here as the last defender. Runs at him, comes in field. Konate sticks with him. A clean challenge. Terrific defending from the Frenchman, who held his ground, didn't panic. Won it as Vinicius Junior came inside. A real one-on-one battle. He might have backed the Brazilian, but no. At the other end, Casemiro too strong for Mane, a Liverpool throw, Chris.
Just the ball from Luka Modric, though, to release Vinicius Junior was glorious. It took out about 4 Liverpool players and gave them the chance to run at the Liverpool defender, Konate.
I was worried for Liverpool then because, again, Vinicius Junior was 1v1 with Konate, and I thought he did really, really well. This game is literally, I mean, it's not to sound cliche, but it literally is, you can't take a moment off because one team, Liverpool go down one end, and then before you know it, Modric is picking up the ball and finding Benzema. It's literally like, you can't take your eyes off of it.
Yeah, I was worried for Liverpool, but when Vinicius Junior was bearing down on goal, Real Madrid fans were on the edge of their seats. You may well be listening to us on UEFA Champions League Match Day Live. We've got 18 minutes of the final to go. Liverpool 0, Real Madrid 1. Vinicius Junior, the goal scorer, and he's the target here of the long diagonal, and it goes through to Alisson. But there wasn't much in that again.
He could have brought that down. I think he actually could have got there and brought it down, but I think he misread it.
Liverpool a little playing with fire there. Again, the high line that they'll always play with. Relying on their goalkeeper to sweep up behind the back line, and he did so. Here's Thiago on the ball now as we revert to the other end of the field. Our gaze to our right as Liverpool try and score the equaliser in front of their now nervous supporters. Real Madrid have not lost a final of the UEFA Champions League or European Cup since the night in Paris that we spoke about before the programme. 1981, Alan Kennedy's goal at the Parc des Princes.
Yeah, it's extraordinary, not just the amount of finals they reach, but the amount of finals they win. 13 out of 16 is an extraordinary win percentage in the biggest game in club football.
Liverpool throw, level with the penalty spot, near side, the right. Alexander-Arnold to Mane, to Henderson, back to Mane. Just nicked it past the defender. Some suggestion that there could have been some contact again on Mane, but he was chasing the loose ball, only had eyes for that. Thiago jumps to nod it to his left to Robertson. Robertson forward to Jota. Jota coming in off the left-hand side, going into the box. Casemiro was calm, got a foot in. Here's Thiago. Henderson thinks about a shot, finds Alexander-Arnold. He's on the edge of the box here. Low ball in through the defender's legs towards Salah. Cleared by Casemiro. Here's Henderson again, nodding his head as he runs. Back to Alexander-Arnold. Oh, it got a nick off Jota on the way through, but he couldn't deflect it goalwards. And it's a goal kick to Real Madrid.
I think that's why Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andy Robertson, because I don't think that was a shot. It was almost like, you know, he's gone off of both of his legs and he's struck it. But that type of pace on the ball, any type of touch would allow Jota to be able to make it go in. So although it looks erratic, you know, and now we're seeing Naby Keita come on probably for Henderson. Potentially, I think Henderson's done relatively good. You know, he's done his role, he's done what he needed to do, but he looks like he's run out of legs towards the second half as well. So looks like Naby, I could be wrong. Maybe Jordan Henderson isn't coming off. I'm sure Jurgen Klopp's reluctant to bring off his, you know, captain, but I think that would probably be the right decision.
Well, certainly Keita is about to join the fray. We haven't seen any sign of Thiago wilting from a Liverpool perspective, which was one of the main threads pre-kickoff.
And we haven't seen any signs of David Alaba not being fully fit, given he's not played for a month. He's had a faultless evening thus far.
Real Madrid lead by a goal to nil. There are 15 minutes to go. And Mane with a high boot there, and Toni Kroos has landed a painful one on German's left shin. I wonder how Carlo Ancelotti is weighing up the changes to his midfield, to his famed midfield. Roberto Firmino is also being prepared to come on for Liverpool. Could Bobby Firmino be the hero? He's fallen down the pecking order for Liverpool this season.
I'll be interested to see who comes off in this situation, because you don't take off Salah, you don't take off Mane, so who do you take off?
I wonder whether Jota might go back into the midfield three.
Front four for the last 10.
Or 4-2-4.
Free kick Real Madrid, whipped in towards the back post. Was there an offside flag in there against Casemiro? Didn't appear to be one. Casemiro let it bounce off his foot and away from goal, but he was right in front of the posts alone for a moment. Jota at the other end, forward for Liverpool. Robertson is up there, but he loses out, and it's Real Madrid ball. Vinicius Junior trying to get back onside, but the flag is up. We have 14 minutes left.
I'd be very interested to see if Casemiro's offside, because if he wasn't from that free kick, you have to think, I know he doesn't get many goals, but he had a big chance to go for goal. I think
tried
he
to
was
put it
offside.
across, didn't he? He tried to put it across goal. And in that situation, you can do that and be unselfish, but you have to make sure that pass lands, don't you? Like you say, Chris.
Had he connected with it the way he wanted, it would have been a tap in for Vinicius Junior.
There's the Liverpool change. Henderson is indeed the player replaced. Naby Keita is on, but also Thiago is coming off. And I think Chris Barrett's right in his analysis that Roberto Firmino is going to come on, so there will be a change to the balance. Either Jota will drop into a deeper role, or it'll be some form of a four-man attack for Liverpool with 13 minutes and change to go.
Here we go. Richard Conley, here we go.
Well, you can't stand and wait, can you? You've got to alter proceedings, and that's what Jurgen Klopp has decided to do.
I think that we know from this competition, 99 as well, Manchester United with Liverpool against AC Milan, you know, there's this competition, anything can happen. Even in the 90th minute, you cannot stop, and that's what's so great, I think, about the Champions League. I don't think there's many competitions in the world that have that, where, you know, Man City saw that in the last round against Real Madrid, and there's still a lot in this game.
Firmino collecting the ball in a deep position. Now wants it played back to him more advanced. But strong challenge by Alaba came in, one back by Keita, his first involvement. Here's Alexander-Arnold, who plays it across, and he had a shooting chance. He elected to cross, and it was blocked in the middle, I think, by Eder Militao. And Real Madrid were able to clear, and they haven't got the free kick that they wanted on the near side. The referee's not saying free kick to Vinicius Junior, he's saying get up. And Liverpool play it forward to Firmino, who's got away from one challenge, elects to pass to Jota, then goes to put his, I guess he's putting his boot back on there, Firmino, when the play was very much alive. It was an odd thing to witness, and the attack broke down. Here's Firmino again, shoots this time from the left corner of the box and gets the throw in.
He's given them something already. Maybe that bit more physicality from Firmino as well up there. He's already had 2 good involvements. He's been on the pitch for probably 90 seconds.
Keita on the ball for Liverpool. Outside the box, tries to squeeze one through. Jota took it past one challenge. Firmino across towards Mane, and he didn't get the pass right. And it was put behind by Alaba for a corner. But Real Madrid were shaky there. It wouldn't have counted. The flag was up. The flag was up against who? Well, if it was up against Firmino, we might have had to revisit that. It was very tight.
So what we're seeing right now is we've had Casemiro, we've had Trent Alexander-Arnold, we've seen Firmino in that situation. Somebody has to take the responsibility to shoot. I think it's great being unselfish. You know, I love getting assists, I love passes to my teammates, but when you're in these situations, you have to take accountability and take it on yourself, because, you know, Casemiro gave up a chance that he could have scored himself. And we've seen it just a second ago, Trent Alexander-Arnold trying to put it across the box. He needs to have a look and see, you know, he can play that ball and he can strike it.
The Brazilian Ronaldo in the crowd, we got a glimpse of him a moment ago. 1-2 moments where he would have thumped it.
Absolutely.
And taken the net off, I think.
Including in this city, remember? It's the UEFA Cup when he was at Inter, and one of the great European performances down the road at the Parc des Princes.
Liverpool 19 attempts, 7 on target, but no goals. They trail 1-0. Here's Firmino, back to Salah, deflects into the path of Jota, who's kept out by Courtois. And Jota bares his teeth in frustration. It wouldn't quite roll for him. It rolled away from him. If he'd taken it in his stride, it was a glorious chance.
That was quite strange. It almost looked like
Henderson's there. Salah, long in control. Henderson. This has scored a couple against Liverpool in the quarter-final last season. His potential's never been a secret. This season, you know you're going to get goals from him. Salah looking for an equaliser.
It's been taken quickly by Liverpool. Well, now the referee's saying, actually, it's a Liverpool ball. And they're saying, well, why didn't you let play continue then?
I think the referee just wanted a second there to work out which way the flow was. And he is quite within his rights to do that. He wasn't sure, and Liverpool took it so quickly that he almost didn't have time to make the decision. What I would say is Roberto Firmino is making things happen. They look much slicker in the final third since he's come on.
Henderson's there. Salah, long in control.
On the left-hand side, can he pull this back? He did. Keita on the edge, thumps it over the crossbar. I don't think he was the initial target of Firmino, but he got into a brilliant position. He missed Robertson with the pullback. It came to Keita, and he went with the outside of the right and got the technique all wrong.
Yeah, I mean, he's gone with the Modric's technique, but can't implement that from that situation. Really good for Firmino, as Chris said, but I think Keita's got to be doing better in that situation. If that was me, I would have just struck through the ball. You haven't got to go on the outside of the foot.
He could visualise it curling back into that top corner.
Absolutely. You'll visualise that, but he's only on the edge of his box. He's got to, you know, put it on target.
I think they know it's going to have to hit the top corner to beat Courtois today.
Yeah.
That's one thing. Liverpool trail, Real Madrid lead. Vinicius Junior in the 59th minute. And we're less than 10 minutes away from the end now here. Ball over the top by Liverpool. Salah, water touch, brings it down, goes again. Oh, Courtois makes the save! I thought he'd scored again, and the Real Madrid defenders are rushing to Courtois to embrace him and to cuddle him after that save. Salah got away from Mendy, and Courtois was the last line again. Salah cannot believe it.
This is absolutely incredible. What a save that is. Salah, the first touch from Salah was fantastic in itself, and if that was me, I'm sure Salah thought that was already in. What a save.
Corner, Alexander-Arnold, headed out by Valverde for Real Madrid. Keita collects, unopposed for the time being, finds Firmino. Square to Salah. Forward towards Konate on the edge. Back to Salah. Oh, Liverpool are exposed here. How many defenders are back? Not many. Vinicius Junior flicks it to Toni Kroos. He's got two to his right. On the far side is Karim Benzema. Goes back towards Vinicius, and out comes Alisson. And they did not make the most of that. A chance to tie a white ribbon on the trophy, and they couldn't get it done.
They had a 3v2, they had an overload, and that final pass from Benzema just let him down in the end. But a really good play, great play from Vinicius Junior to play the ball through, and Benzema just needed to square it across, and it would have been probably a tap-in.
From the moment that Konate had it on the edge of the Real Madrid penalty area and lost it, we knew Liverpool were in trouble. We're watching the save again, Chris, from Courtois.
I think this is turning into one of the great goalkeeping performances, certainly in the final. 5 very good saves, and I think 2 of those are world class. The one in the first half from Mane, and that one from Salah, because he struck that true on his right foot. And
he scored a couple against Liverpool in the quarter-final last season.
The bicep really to go wide. What a save.
Jota trying to make something happen.
Henderson's there. Salah,
right.
lovely control.
Really good defensive work. Quietly, he's been excellent for Real Madrid. Maybe not so quietly with the assist for the goal for this man, Vinicius Junior, on the near side. His yellow boots. Back to Benzema, who's content to hold possession and wait for a challenge and win the throw-in and use some time on the clock. Is there a change coming, Chris?
Yeah, Camavinga is readied. We shall see who for, but the French youngster is about to come on. He's made such a great impact on this run to the final.
Yeah, and he is a young man too, Eduardo Camavinga, just 19 years of age. Valverde is down. Looks like he is going to make way, but it's going to be a fine hand here for the Uruguayan. By no means the brightest star in the Real Madrid ranks, but tonight he really has shone, setting up the goal that might be the only goal of this final. Valverde makes his way slowly to the near side. Camavinga will take his place.
I would suggest that Montevideo will be pretty loud right now as well. Had some great players, Uruguay. They haven't had too many Champions League winners, and here comes Camavinga, and 5 minutes to go. His energy, his quality on the ball, and what we have seen, normally he comes on full one of the old guard in midfield, but all 4 of them are on the pitch now together, and it's pretty much 4-4-2 really, with Vinicius Junior and Benzema somewhere up front, but we've got a lot of players who should be able to control this game if they get the chance.
Benzema looking for a square ball to Modric, but it didn't come off. Jota brings it away for Liverpool. Now the midfield trio for Real Madrid go to win the 5th Champions League title together here.
A terrific pass there to Casemiro, and now Valverde has some space, and Casemiro at Carvajal at his shoulder, hit into Vinicius!
He's played, and has played every minute of this one so far as well. Back to Camavinga for a first touch. This is valuable time off the clock for Real Madrid.
Sometimes when you go back and you rewatch a game afterwards, if Real Madrid are not winning this game, you want to rewatch this game and have a look at it from a completely different perspective, because in the first half, Liverpool were completely all over them. And in the second half, it's been completely different.
Vinicius Junior onside down the left-hand side, steps away from Alexander-Arnold, steps away from Konate, gets it back to Benzema, who tried to beat Alexander-Arnold, and had he done so, he was in on goal, but the right-back got a toe to it and cleared. And Liverpool are countering with Mane. Firmino's made a real burst into the centre. Mane trying to find Salah. Sees his pass intercepted by Casemiro, who clears to Modric, an excellent outball. Modric took it and killed it on his chest immediately, and now plays a triangle with Camavinga and Kroos and pokes it through, and the offside flag is up against Vinicius Junior. Although it seemed for a moment the flag was going to stay down.
It looked like a decent run in the beginning, because he looked like he tried to hold his run, but I mean, as I said before, I think if they end up putting this off, I think you've got to give Ancelotti a lot of respect and credit if people haven't already, because it would be a tactical masterclass if they can pull this off, because I don't think in the first half anyone saw this coming. I think people expected Liverpool to win this game pretty convincingly, and I think this will go down, as Chris said, as one of the best goalkeeping performances we've seen in a really I can't remember a goalkeeper playing better than Courtois, especially in the final. But I mean, the way that these players are keying the ball, Modric just received it, brought it out the air. It makes it look so simple. That's the thing with these players. They make the most difficult touches look so simple, and it's absolute joy to watch.
88th minute, the corner swung in by Alexander-Arnold, and out comes Courtois to grab it with both gloves for Real Madrid. He's down on the edge of the goal area, and he might be bruised, and he's holding his face here as if he has taken a blow. But it's another fine piece of goalkeeping work by the giant Belgian, who is taking this game away from Liverpool single-handedly tonight, maybe double-handedly would be a better expression.
You almost felt the Liverpool end just sink a little bit as he came there. They had the hope of the corner, and then the goalkeeper just comes and does that, and it just takes all the pressure off. But you know, he will know, what was it, 92nd minute when Sergio Ramos scored against him in 2014 when he was in that Atletico team that were 1-0 up in a final. Oh, Ancelotti knows all about Liverpool and comebacks, because he was coach when his team were 3-0 up against Liverpool and didn't win it in Istanbul. So until this is over, it is not over. But Real Madrid are exactly where they would wish to be heading into the 90th minute of the final.
Dani Ceballos is ready to come on for Real Madrid for the last minute of normal time. How much added time will there be? Raul is shifting in his seat. Up above, it is Luka Modric who is coming off for the first time in a Champions League final. He applauds the Real Madrid supporters. Will a 5th crown be his in this competition? It looks that way. We're in the 90th minute now. Ceballos for Modric is the change. Isco, Bale, Marcelo, Asensio, Rodrigo, Hazard will remain on the Real Madrid bench. May not be used now unless we go to extra time. Firmino pokes one forward for Liverpool. It was easy enough for Eder Militao, but didn't quite realise where he was. He had more time than he thought. Liverpool get it back as a result. Here's Robertson on the left-hand side. You hear a few whistles in the crowd now, but we're not quite up to 90 minutes. Keita, challenged by Camavinga. Useful because it just pushes the ball away from the Real Madrid goal. 5 is the number. 5 additional minutes. Keita forward. Robertson laid it off. Casemiro flashed it high into the night sky, and it is night now. Delayed start to the final. And we're in added time at the end of the 90 minutes now. 91st minute. Vinicius Junior with Benzema. Run being made through the centre by Ceballos, and he's in the substitute. The flag stayed down, and he tried to find Vinicius Junior, and he couldn't. And then Keita got back there to help out for Liverpool, and it will be a corner. Ceballos did not quite have the courage to go himself.
That ball from Benzema was what made me kind of... the ball from Benzema was unbelievable. I can't get my head around it. He saw the player was offside. He played the second man run. Fantastic ball to Ceballos. And Ceballos, again, the players are getting in these positions and they're not making the most of these opportunities, because that was a simple pass or a simple strike. Don't overcomplicate it in the final third.
I think that they've had three chances now to kill this final off Real Madrid on the break. They haven't taken them. We are about to see Rodrigo come on as well for the final 4 minutes.
Kroos and Benzema take the corner short between them. We're into the 92nd. We will have 95 at least. Real Madrid lead by a goal to 0. Vinicius Junior's goal just before the hour mark. Here's Benzema on the edge. Benzema away from Robertson, trying to tee up Camavinga, who puts it over the top. Goal kick to Liverpool.
They've had chances, as Chris just said. You know, that's not an easy chance from Camavinga. I think he's been good since he's come on whenever he comes in this competition, but I think they've got to hit the target. Or, if you're not going to hit the target, then go out to the corner flag as they have been doing, because in that situation, he's got to hit it. Let's make the goalkeeper pull up a save, it goes out for a corner, and you can possess the ball down there, because Liverpool can now go down the other end.
How many shots on target have Real Madrid had today? It's close to 1, I'll tell you that. I don't know if it's more.
Certainly not many more.
No. Vinicius Junior is coming off. He might have just won the big cup for Real Madrid. He's off with 92 minutes on the watch. And Rodrigo on for the last 3 and maybe more. Van Dijk is forward for Liverpool here as an extra striker, and he won the initial header there from the long ball. Alexander-Arnold with a diagonal. Mane trying to attack it. A little bit of pink smoke emanating from the Liverpool fans
pass
to our
there to
right-hand side.
Casemiro, and now Valverde has some space.
It's Ceballos over
Casemiro
on the far side. He's got away from
shoulder,
Suarez and
into
Camavinga.
Vinicius!
Mane into the area, crosses. Header out by Eder Militao, who was the calmest man in white in the penalty area there. And there might be a counter on here for Real Madrid. Can Kroos pick out the ball? He usually can. He's looking for a free kick. He found the leg of Keita and won the free kick, and this is valuable time off the clock.
Absolutely fantastic. I mean, these players, like I said, I love watching footballers that make the game look easy, and they make the game look easy. They bring the ball down, they see the game out, they make the right decisions. Not always, but certain players make the right decisions 9 times out of 10. And Luka Modric went off, you know, I don't think I've ever seen that man have a bad game. Absolutely brilliant. And like I said, if they can pull this off, maybe it's a tactical masterclass from Carlo Ancelotti. In the first half, when it felt like they were completely, you know, all over them, Liverpool all over them, Real Madrid have really played well this second half, as they have
Terrific
done
pass there
most
to
of the time in
Casemiro.
these Champions League games.
Well, Real Madrid are an extraordinary club with a long list of exhilarating triumphs, but this, over the course of the season, might be a victory like no other they have ever experienced. Liverpool go long and not really well targeted the diagonal this time.
Virgil van Dijk is playing as a centre-forward.
Terrific pass there to Casemiro, and now Valverde has some space.
60 seconds to
Casemiro
find
at
it.
Carvajal's
into the
shoulder,
95th
into
minute.
Vinicius!
The Real Madrid substitutes can barely look at the field of play, looking down at the floor in the technical area, hoping that the seconds tick by. Alisson has it at the back. He's under pressure, takes it away from the onrushing Ceballos, and then plays a little cute ball to his left to Konate. Liverpool want to go forward more quickly than this. Maybe Keita can do something. He's done well to find Fabinho on the left wing. Fabinho back onto his right foot, clips in the cross towards the back post. Out comes Courtois. He claims the ball, and he might have his gloves on the trophy before long. There are seconds remaining. Towards the end of the 95th minute. They've barely had a shot on target, but I think it's going to be enough. Courtois' long clearance. Keita takes it down. He's fouled. It's a whistle for a free kick for Liverpool. It's not the final whistle. Real Madrid booted the ball away and actually booted it into the Liverpool net. That is the final whistle. And Real Madrid's most extraordinary journey ends with a 14th triumph in the UEFA Champions League. An extraordinary story of comeback after comeback ends with a backs-to-the-wall performance to beat Liverpool in Paris. You would never make it up, but they have done it, and they have done it again. What character, what resilience, what quality when it mattered. Real Madrid are kings of Europe for a 14th time. They've won the final by 1-0. Leanne Sanderson.
I'm absolutely speechless, honestly. Fantastic performance in the second half from Real Madrid. Carlo Ancelotti, I said, if he pulls this off tactically, a masterclass. In the first half, Liverpool pressed, and in the second half, it was almost a game plan. See this one out, and it was a fantastic goal in the end, a good team goal, and we can see what it means to the players now. Vinicius Junior's down there crying, and then on the other end you've got, you know, Virgil van Dijk, how much it means to them. But Liverpool didn't play badly tonight at all, but Real Madrid just looked like a team that has been in this position many times, and they just saw the game out, and it's
Terrific
fantastic
pass
to
there
see.
to
It really
Casemiro, and now Valverde has some space. Casemiro at Carvajal's shoulder, into Vinicius!
This time they have won in Paris against Liverpool. It ends Liverpool 0, Real Madrid 1.
Thank you very much, Richard Connolly. You can hear the Real Madrid players and staff bouncing on the pitch at the Stade de France. Karim Benzema at the centre of that celebration. But the hero is another youngster, arguably for the third Champions League final running. Kingsley Coman 2020, Kai Havertz 2021, and now Vinicius Junior at the age of 21 is the hero for Real Madrid, Chris Barrett.
And the goal, I think, was the real moment of quality for Real Madrid in the final third. I think, and I've only seen it once or twice on the replay, I'd like to look again, but I think Fede Valverde means to pick him out. And he got round the back of Trent Alexander-Arnold. That was the matchup we talked about in the build-up, and ultimately I think Vinicius Junior has come out on top, but Thibaut Courtois is surely the man of the match. A phenomenal individual performance from him.
Carlo Ancelotti punches the air in his suit in front of the Real Madrid supporters. He has delivered them their 14th European Cup by beating Liverpool 1-0. You're listening to Matchday Live with me, Rob Daly, on UEFA.com and on the Champions League app. Karim Benzema, arm in arm with Carlo Ancelotti, two Real Madrid legends now. Surely Ancelotti champion in this competition for the second time with Madrid. And Chris, you pointed to it pre-match. He's delivered a double for Real Madrid.
He's delivered the League and Champions League double, and he stands down there alone as the most successful coach in the history of this great competition. 5 wins for Carlo Ancelotti as a coach. 4 wins, sorry, as a coach. Also won it twice as a player. No one can equal what Carlo Ancelotti now has done in the Champions League / the European Cup, and it was a measured performance. Liverpool will think we had the chances to win it, but Paris thought that in the round of 16, Chelsea thought that in the quarterfinals, Manchester City thought that in the semi-finals, and it's not luck when it happens time and time again. The resilience is amazing, but so is the quality at both ends. I mentioned the goalkeeper Courtois, and then at the other end with Valverde and with the finish from Vinicius Junior. And Liverpool a tough week, having not won the English Premier League. Now they suffer disappointment in the Champions League as well.
There were mainly tears from the Real Madrid players, including Marcelo, who broke down at full time. Did not feature in the final, but it might well be his last game as a Real Madrid player. Embracing his compatriot Eder Militao as they wave into the stands here. Lian Sanderson, European champion 2007 with Arsenal. Surely as a player it does not get better than this.
No, it was the best moment in my career when we won it, and I still remember it like it was yesterday, celebrating with your friends and family, and these are the games you live for. And I said, as I've always said, you know, I've always experienced, never let the highs get too high and the lows get too low. And Chris, you know, has touched upon it a second ago. In the space of a week, Liverpool could have been, you know, Premier League champions and champions of Europe, and now they're not. Doesn't mean they've had a bad season. It's just in the reality. So I feel for the Liverpool players and the staff, but Real Madrid and Carlo Ancelotti, fair play to them. They were absolutely fantastic. And you know, Chris touched upon it. Courtois, for me, man of the match, followed closely by Carvajal. I thought he was absolutely fantastic. And that's coming from me, a striker that's so centre-forward heavy. You know, I'm always like, they should get player of the match, but absolutely brilliant. And it's a team game, and these celebrations go into the night, and I remember it like it was yesterday. Like I said, these are the moments you play for.
They are dancing in front of the away end, or the Real Madrid end, as I should say. Liverpool supporters are starting to spill out of the Stade de France. The red half of the arena is emptying as Karim Benzema holds up 5 fingers for 5 Champions League triumphs. We can see Fela Mendy. Some of these players, of course, haven't won the Champions League before down there. Richard Connolly, and really saving the moment, along with the old heads like Modric, who's fist pumping to the sky. Yeah, I don't think you would have been able to differentiate between the old heads and the less experienced players today. Somebody like Eder Militao, who was rock solid at the back, physical, commanding, but also composed when he needed to be. Ferland Mendy, the left back, another admirable player. Fede Valverde, who's never scored a goal in the Champions League, but my goodness, he set up one tonight. These guys are all a major part, and part of the gradual transition away from this core of successful players, which has obviously added to its list of triumphs tonight. But the gradual transition, and how these younger players are gaining the kind of experience too that will help transition them into the greats of the future. So it's a part of the bigger picture, that journey too, and yeah, the young guys have more than played that now.
See Virgil van Dijk there just has his shirt above his face. He can't look. He's so disappointed to have lost. But I think just for Carlo Ancelotti, if we take Real Madrid back to where they were a year ago, most people were saying, well, how are they going to compete for the Champions League again with the likes of Liverpool and Manchester City and Paris Saint-Germain and Chelsea and maybe even Bayern? I don't think many people at the start of this season had them in the favourites to win it. I think maybe there were 7 or 8 clubs that people thought would be ahead of them, but the work that he has done through the season to get this collection of players, old and young, performing together, the belief that they have is phenomenal. We saw that tonight, because Liverpool had 6, 7 very good chances, couldn't take them.